Konnichiwa, my name is Sorella Amor and welcome to this Finance and Freedom channel. In previous videos, I've touched on the fact that wealthy people and not wealthy people, they have a very different mindset, they think differently, they act differently, they live their lives very differently. And one of the deciding factors in whether you're going to become successful later on in life is what kind of a world you were born into. And I'm not just talking about whether you were born into a rich world, I'm more so talking about the lessons that were passed down from your rich parents if you were born into a rich family versus those that were born into a less wealthy or poor family. So let's talk about the differences there. If you are new here, please make sure you subscribe and also hit that like button and comment. It helps us immensely in getting the message of finance and freedom out to the world. We also have an amazing newsletter with all things finance, freedom, global structures. It's really enjoyable, really beautifully written text from Leon. I think you'll really enjoy it, so link in bio for that. We have also launched the pre-sale of our course and membership combo that is on all things finance, freedom, and global structures. So if you'd like to get lifetime access for a huge discount, check out the link in the bio to find out more. Disclaimer up front, I wasn't born rich. Definitely not. And secondly, a lot of people are gonna say, hey, rich kids are really annoying because they're just born into money, they inherit the money, so of course their life is better. They prance around, haven't worked a day of their life, they don't know how much time and effort it takes to build wealth, the downfalls, the failures you have with it. A lot of them seem quite disconnected from reality because they just don't know what it's like to live a normal, harder life where things are just hard and lots of opportunities are not handed to them. So we're just forgetting that part of the equation. We're just talking purely about the beautiful mindset that isn't only, and this is the good thing, it isn't only reserved for those people that were born rich. It's something that you can start instilling in yourself, you self-parenting on yourself to rewire your brain, or if you want to have a family one day, or you have a family now, starting to teach these principles to your children is going to help immensely in helping them progress in life. Redefining risks. Majority of the world is employed. There is only a handful or smaller amount of people that are the business owners, the entrepreneurs. This is a much smaller scale, tipping towards the entrepreneurship because we just haven't been born into a world where entrepreneurship is celebrated, as per my previous video. Because of that, a lot of people have a very different approach to life and they think that security is the main thing that they should be pursuing. Of course, if you have never had the capacity to have food, having a job is one of the most wonderful things in the world. As always, I'm not saying that entrepreneurship is for everyone. I've mentioned this before, there are some people just completely not made for this. However, the thing that you find in wealthier households or abundant mindset households is a way of redefining risk, because we're being taught that a secure job is not risky, whereas I believe that a secure job is actually risky. The company can go under at any point, so you are actually just trusting your life with somebody else. Your whole livelihood, all of your income, you're trusting that somebody else will take care of you. That's so incredibly scary to me. The thing that I learned was always self-sufficiency and full total responsibility for your life, because if you can take full total responsibility for your existence in every area, it means that you are bulletproof to as many things as possible. You realize that lots of things can go wrong, and so you prepare yourself for these different circumstances. But with this safer path, the entrepreneurship path, there are still risks that you have to take, but it's just part of the game. You start seeing that as a game, especially if you start younger, you have less responsibilities. It can become a game because you don't have as many risks. You don't have so many things that can go wrong, and you don't have children that you have to foot their bill. But sure, there are some risks with starting up a company. Maybe it's not going to work the first time, second time, third time, fourth time. Maybe your company and your idea is not going to take off. But the way that I see it, everything is a calculated risk. I did have a job for 2 years. I mentioned this before. I worked as a marketing manager for an education company. And so during that time, I was learning as much as possible, whilst at the same time starting out my very first company, which was a huge flop. It was a disaster, but I still had that thing to lean back on for myself because I knew I was not going to be working in a job full time, because I knew that was really risky. So I wanted to get myself out of that, but I was still taking very calculated risks. When I finally quit my job working for somebody else in an office environment so I could free up more of my time, I still had a bar job. It wasn't about quit everything and then, wow, I'm going to make this work, because business isn't as easy as it could be, because no one really wants to talk about it, because the world is right now set up for being employed. So I still had a base income for myself because I could function smarter this way. So yes, there are risks when it comes to the entrepreneur mind, because you do have to do things that are outside of the norm. Starting a business, putting yourself out there, there could be risk of your social reputation going down the drain because things could not work. People could be laughing at you. Whenever you're starting a business or any part of the business cycle, there is the risk of financial instability because you don't know what the cycle is going to do. A lot of people that are business owners are struggling right now because of what happened last year. So now they're trying to end this year. So they're trying to figure out different ways. So they have to be always on their feet thinking. However, I feel like I've escaped the riskiest path of all, which is the path of working for somebody else. And now the rewards of me taking this perceived riskier way is I have financial freedom. I have my time freedom. I decide where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do. I am free. I'm a free person. Of course, it could have taken me another 10 or 20 years to make this work. And on the side, maybe I would have had to have jobs still because things weren't working. I understood that was a factor for me, but I was willing to give it a crack because if the normal working life is like 45, 50 years or something, I was willing to spend at least half of that time trying to figure out how to become independent because then I would have had the chance of being free on the other side. So there was always that, you know, time pressure of, yeah, this could suck for a really long time, but the reward for me was just so great. This is what I mean by redefining risk, because it is not a common conversation to have with people when you're saying that a stable job is actually the riskier thing. And so it's, for me, it was like a huge override of my brain function. And then everything else just fell into place. Like, oh, I have to get out of this trap as soon as possible. It can be seen as a trap because it is so comfortable. I have a friend that has $700,000 saved in his bank account because he works for a really big tech company, no names. He's still afraid to leave. Afraid to leave because the comforts are there, because he has a guaranteed paycheck. At what point is it enough to pursue that freedom that he so very much wants? All of us want freedom, but it's down to us to decide how we're going to get that freedom and if we're willing to take the risk of making that happen. Networking is everything. There's a very famous saying in the world of success that says, success is not about what you know, it's who you know. And there's another one that says, show me your network and I'll show you your net worth. It is the connections that you have, and I have had examples of this in my own life and I've seen it played out quite severely. It's so important to take care of your networks, but not forcefully. You want them to develop naturally because, of course, life is too short to work with someone that you don't like. But having people around you that think highly and they have a really nice, abundant mindset is going to help you progress further. So the reason why these Ivy League schools, I'm sure you've heard of it, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, they are so expensive. And lots of people think that you're going to get a much better education if you go to these schools. But no, if you're studying law at Harvard, it doesn't mean that you're getting a different education to any other prestigious or less prestigious school in the United States of America. It essentially means that you are not getting the contacts, because a lot of very rich people want to send their children to the best Ivy schools where there are the same type of people around them to network, to share ideas, to hopefully build connections and go from there. So what the huge price point of these universities are, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, is the connections that people get out of that. Now, if you haven't been to one of these prestigious schools, you're basically screwed. I'm just kidding. Absolutely not. I didn't go to one of these. You might just have to work a little bit harder in order to have a business network that is high value. So it is reaching out to people that you admire, that you want to work with, maybe offering help for free. I worked for free as an intern to an amazing, one of the best in the world photographers. From that, that was a huge pillar of the beginning start of my entire business. I also recall the times when, for example, I started my previous YouTube channel. I happened to stumble across an amazing connection, huge German YouTuber that helped me immensely in order to understand the YouTube world. And she also pushed up my numbers a tiny bit at the very beginning when I didn't know what I was doing. She just liked me. We hung out a lot. We became really good friends, and she was there to support me. You actually have no idea who you're going to meet, and it is about meeting the high quality connections. And that means that you have to ensure that you're a high quality person as well. You have to check in with yourself. This is not me parenting you. Just decide for yourself. What is the first impression that you're giving off? Do you have a great conversation that you can hold with people? Are you enjoyable to be around? Do people want to be around you? Because networking isn't just down to hey, I got them skills, how about it? Oftentimes it is based off the fact that you become friends and you want to nurture that friendship and help each other out. So you want to make sure that you are a good friend as well around these high quality people and that you provide value to these people in order to be in that circle of friends. Increase value, not work hours. For the average person in any normal job, the two ways of increasing your income is number one, to work extra hours, work overtime, or number two, to increase value within your position in order to get a raise. Of course, these are two great avenues in order to increase your income, but they also come with a huge limitation. Because let's say that you become an accountant and you get out of school, and the very first year you work full-time and you serve 100 customers. You serve them by doing their books, by tax returns. Eventually, say that you become comfortable serving 100 clients in a year, you want to increase your wealth. So what you can do at that time is to increase the number of clients that you have. But that means working extra hours. And at some point, it becomes physically impossible for you to actually take on extra clients because you don't have the time. A huge pivot that needs to be taken place in the brain is to realize that business is nothing but providing value to as many people as possible. So then let's take a different example. Also an accountant comes out of school and spends the same amount of time, 1 year, developing an app that is teaching people how to do their own books or helps lowering their tax legally. When that app launches, let's say it starts reaching eventually 1 million people. With the exact same amount of hours spent 1 year working as the other accountant to serve on 100 people, this other person, other accountant with a different mindset and a different goal, created value for 1 million people. And this is the avenue for expanding wealth. Now, of course, there is no guarantee that this app is going to reach 1 million people, but I'm just talking a general view. If you want to increase your wealth tremendously, and if you want to get out of the rat race, the one thing that you have to do is to change your perception of working to trade your hours, instead trading your value to as many people in the world as possible. Everybody has some sort of a skill that they are able to expand on a greater value that they don't have to trade their time for. So if you're in that position, I encourage you to ask yourself these 3 questions. How could I use this skill to add value to the most people possible? What's a product or service I could create that could positively impact the world the most? What's the biggest problem my skill could solve? The bigger problem that you are able to solve for as many people as possible, the more wealth you are able to acquire. Well done, team. We're getting through this. And I'm attached to my harp. That it's okay to be rich. A lot of people in the world are being told that being rich makes you evil, that money makes you corrupt, makes you a horrible person. There's a lot of programming around wealth, that it is a really, really bad thing to do. And if you have wealth, you are one of those horrible people. My household, it was never, ever any chats about the fact that wealthy people were bad in some way. Of course, there was bad people that maybe happened to have wealth, but there was also great people that had a lot of wealth, and the opportunities that you have as a good person with a good heart that you can create when you have wealth. That's more of the focus of what we were talking about. I truly and honestly believe that money amplifies you as a person that you already are. So if someone has a lot of money and they are evil, it is because of the person that they are, some of the upbringing that they have, some of the traumas attached to what it's like to also have a lot of money and being petrified to lose that. That is actually a thing. It is so important in today's landscape to find people that are willing to acquire a lot of wealth by doing good. It is more, what kind of a heart do you have? So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because if you think that wealthy people are evil, subconsciously it is for sure 1000% going to stop you from becoming that person. Why don't you just see for yourself what happens? And step by step, if you find yourself turning evil when you acquire wealth, then check yourself. What can you do differently in order to make sure that that doesn't progress further? Don't use that as an excuse before you start. Override that, because it is programmed in us how to manage money. This is one of the simplest concepts that we can have in this video, but one of the most important. If you do not know how to manage money, it is not going to come to you. Money goes where there's the most organization and the most respect. So if you just blow your money and you don't care about it, money will not come to you. If you do not know what to do with it, it's going to slip through your fingers. Actually, even worse, I'm just rereading Jordan Peterson's book right now, and one of the things he said actually blew me away, and I had never really thought of this. If you're in a low status position, even with your just mindset or your social environment, it doesn't matter, money will become of very use to you. Money will make you liable to the dangerous temptations of drugs and alcohol, which are much more rewarding if you have been deprived of pleasures for a long period. Money will make you a target for for predators and psychopaths who thrive on exploiting those who exist on the lower rungs of society. Goosebumps. If you do not have these foundations, money will not come to you. So start studying the money and finances, how it operates before you even have it, and watch it come to you more and more. Thank you so much for being here on this video. I appreciate you being with me. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like and comment down below what was your favorite, what was the most insightful. Again, your engagement helps immensely in getting the message of finance and freedom out to the world, because the algorithm has to stay on our side. Working with the beast. And a reminder, we have the pre-sale of the course membership combo on all things finance, freedom, global structures. So check that out if you'd like to get lifetime access for a discounted price. And I will see you in the next one.